Hi, in today's video I'm going to take a look at installing Invidious using Podman or Docker. Invidious is an open source alternative front end to YouTube. But let's have a look at some of the features down here. It's lightweight, no ads, no tracking, no JavaScript, subscription independent from Google, notifications for all subscribed channels. Sounds pretty good so far. So what we're going to be doing is self-hosting this using a Docker image. So let's have a look at Invidious over here. So I've just got this set up, and what I'm going to do is actually talk you through some of the gotchas that I came across that I didn't see documented, and had to figure out as I went along to get this actually working. So what I've got here is some subscriptions already set up for some channels. So what I'm going to do is actually come across and let's just search for some stuff. So distro tube, and you can see how quick this is. So here's distro tube. This is the sort of front page. You can see you can subscribe here. You actually get an RSS feed. You've got all the information here, and then you've got all the videos. So if we come in here, give it a second, so you can see the images come up. Interestingly, the little play icon, the play video thing, is up in the top left as opposed to the center where you'd be used to it. So let's have a scroll down and look at the actual page we've got here. So we've got the comments coming in here. We can subscribe, and you'll see this little section down here, which I won't mention too much. You can see all the stats and everything, and if we click play,
a few days ago,
you see how quick that kicks in. And you actually have a choice of the player that's used here. So in the settings, which I'll go into, you can either choose the Invidious player or the YouTube player. I haven't had a look, so it'd be a good opportunity for me to have a look at the difference as well. But you can see here we've got play, we've got the sound, we've got the playhead here. We got captions. You can actually set captions for your default language. We got the picker here to actually select the resolution, 1080, that sort of thing. This will come up, see here, and that's coming up in the pop-up. So the pop-up works. So what I want to do actually is just come back out of that and show you an important thing, at least for me, and that is being able to play the videos with MPV. So of course you can use the built-in player, but I like using MPV because you can scrub through it better, and it's more lightweight than using the browser. What I'm going to do is select this URL here, MPV, and what we're going to do is actually play this and see how quick this kicks in. So I've got this set to be 1080, so you can see within 2 seconds or so that's kicked in, and you can see that this is set to 1080. So what I'm going to do is actually come through and take a look at some of the settings, and then walk you through the actual setup. So the only settings you've got here, a sort of light and dark mode, you've got notification bell, I think that's subscriptions, your account, and the settings. The other thing you'll notice here is that when I'm actually on the DistroTube page here, I searched for DistroTube, I clicked the icon for his page, and it comes up with this page. You'll notice here it's actually listing the channel, and this is really interesting because what you can actually do is not just search for stuff by a text string, like DistroTube. You can actually input a ID for either a video, a playlist, or a channel, and it will actually come up with the correct item that you're searching for. So let's have a look at the settings in here. So this is the settings. We've got this divided into several categories: player preferences, visual preferences, and something else below the page. And what I did was actually change the preferred video quality, which by default is set to 720. By default, it's set to HD 720. What you can do is actually set it to dash adaptive quality, and then this little pop-up will appear, and you can set the preferred resolution that you want to work with, so 1080 all the way up to, was that 4K. And then we got the default comments. You can actually have either YouTube or Reddit comments, but by default it just comes with YouTube. You don't actually have to set this. The default captions, so this is going to be the closed captions. So if you're in another country, you can set this to automatically display your closed captions in your particular language, basically. Then we've got show related videos. I haven't checked the automatically extend video description yet. Interactive 360 videos, and you can save the playback position. Then we've got visual preferences, language, country, player style. So let's have a look at the YouTube player style, compare it to the other one. So now let's come back. I don't really notice any difference, to be honest. So let's just come back into that setting there. Player style, put it in Invidious. You've got theme, light, dark. You can see it's automatically picking up the dark theme from my system. This is where you can set the home page, so you can set it to be search, popular, trending, subscriptions, playlists. You've got the feed menus down here. Show nickname, automatic instant redirection fallback. So I think what this is you can actually set, I think there's some browser plugins that you can actually use that will automatically redirect YouTube videos to your Invidious instance. So I think what you can do is actually be on YouTube and it will redirect the link to Invidious instead, but I haven't actually played around with that. Then we got the subscription preferences down here, enable watch history, number of videos in the feed, publish by, that sort of thing. We've got clear watch history, change password, import export data, manage subscriptions, that sort of thing. So you can actually import your subscriptions from YouTube into Invidious. If you log into your YouTube account, I believe there's a section under the settings where you can actually export your subscriptions, I think in a JSON format, and then import that into Invidious. So that's the overview of the settings, and you can see here we've got like popular. So this is just basically showing stuff that I've watched. We've got trending. So we've got a list of trending things here. And then we've got subscriptions. So this is a amalgamation of all the channels that I'm subscribed to. What it does is, by default, in the settings, I think it shows the 40 most recent videos from that channel. And just fill up my teacup. And you can customize those settings. And you can see here, we also have a RSS feed, which I haven't actually tried yet. So you could actually do neat stuff with this. So another thing that I do is I use EL feed with Emacs. So if I just come across here, this is EL feed with Emacs, and this is an RSS reader, and I use this to view YouTube videos, basically. If this second, you can see here, pulling in the image and everything. So what I could do is actually, instead of subscribing to the RSS feeds from YouTube, I could subscribe to them from Invidious instead, and from my local instance. So let's have a look at some of the advantages of this. So another thing I was mentioning is the search up here. And one sort of downside is you don't get the auto completion. So if you start typing distro, it's not going to prompt you to, it's not going to prompt with a distro tube auto completion or anything like that. But what I want to show you here is what we've got is a playlist of 80s horror movies. And if you have a look at the URL, you can see playlist !list equals, and this is the actual playlist ID. So if we come across to Invidious and we put that in, watch what happens. We get the same playlist come up. So you can see here, what this allows us to do is actually compare the layout on YouTube compared to Invidious. So what you'll see here, you can see like view YouTube on view playlist on YouTube, switch Invidious instance. We can subscribe. We've got the RSS feed. So let's compare what it's actually showing in terms of the videos to make sure it's actually showing all the videos on the playlist. So you can see here we've got Inferno, City of the Living Dead, Pit, Funeral Home, Phobia, The Attic. Okay, Inferno, City of the Living Dead, The Pit, Funeral Home, Phobia, The Attic. And you can actually see it's listing videos that have actually been deleted as well here on videos where it isn't listed on YouTube. So this is another thing I want to show you, which is another reason to use this. City of the Living Dead. This video may be inappropriate for some users. I understand. Wish to proceed. Okay, and now I can view it. But that's just annoying. So let's have a look at the same thing here. Where was it? City of the Living Dead. And interestingly, the little play button's coming up in the middle now. Hit play. Just give it a minute or two. Okay, there you go. No age warning. So that's another thing. And remember, when you're logged in with Google, you get the age warning. You can, if you're over 18, you can obviously view it, but if you're not, then you can't. And I think there may be a new thing where you have to in some places you've got to upload your passport or something, or show driver's license to Google to prove you're over 18. And you might not want to give you all your personal information to Google like that. So that's another advantage here. So let's have a look at the actual page and see what actually comes up here. So we're actually getting a list of okay, you can see here the 80s horror movies. So you can see we're actually getting a list here of other recommended videos, as it were, from this playlist. And the difference is, you can see here we've just got a little box here that we actually have to scroll, and that's because there's no JavaScript. Okay, so you still got the same feature, but you just got no JavaScript, so you've got no automatic scroll the same way that you would have on YouTube, where as you're scrolling down you get new videos appear, but you're still getting all the comments here. And again, you can see you've got this stuff on here: watch on YouTube, embed link, and this little section down here. Enough said. So come back to this section here. So again, this is the sort of front page here, and you can sort of customize what appears on here. But one thing that does annoy me is this bit down here. So what we're going to do is we'll get rid of this. So make sure you've got uBlock Origin installed, and what we're going to do is block an element, and I'm going to block that whole thing there. That looks good. Create. Okay, let's clean that up a bit. I don't need to see that. I know I'm using Invidious, so I don't need to see all that information on the bottom. So that's cleaned it up. Made it look a bit nicer. So what's some of the other stuff we can actually do? As I've shown you, you can paste in sort of playlists. So let's have a look for something else. Let's have a look for, say, Tech Hut. So if I come into Tech Hut...
Now, we all know Linux is a...
I'm just going to come across... can we get the... will it... I'm putting at Tech Hut, will it come up? Yeah, nice. Okay, so you can see how easy it is to migrate your stuff from YouTube to Invidious, with the fact that you can paste in playlist URLs into the search bar, you can paste in individual videos, which I'll show you in a second, or a channel ID. Okay, so there we got Tech Hut, you can subscribe to it, we can play all the videos. Okay, so let's grab a individual video here. So what we're going to do is actually grab the part of the URL after watch $v equals, and we're just going to come across and paste that in, and that's not coming up with the right thing. You can see that's coming up with a load of stuff. It worked when I was doing it before. Maybe there's some sort of thing you've got to put before it. So if I come back, we had at Tech Hut, and actually when I went into the channel, you can see it says sort of channel, and then the ID of the channel. And typically the way you find the ID of the channel, because unlike a playlist, which you can actually see in the URL, the channel, you've actually got to view source and go channel ID, and I think it's usually the second or third one. And scroll along, it's usually on the next line. But yeah, if you search for it, go through, you'll find that channel ID. So what I'm just wondering is there a an equivalent sort of prefix for videos? So anyway, what I'll do now is actually go through and show you some of the steps for the installation, having shown you, a bit about this and why you actually might want to use this as a front end. So this is the Invidious GitHub repository, and if you come down here, basically there are public Invidious instances. You can actually self-host a Invidious instance and make it public over the internet. That's not something I'm going to cover. I'm just going to cover self-hosting it on your local network. So if we come across here to the install instructions, that takes us to this page. So there's two options. You can either manually build it and install it, or you can use Docker. And we're going to be using Docker, but we're actually going to be using Podman. So running Invidious requires at least 512 meg of free RAM. So this is generally explaining the RAM usage if you were going to sort of host it on the internet. 512 of RAM, it's a lot, but it's worth it. So this is just general requirements, and this is the section on Docker and what you actually need to do. But there is actually a couple of steps that aren't mentioned here that you'll go through and try and get this working, and it will fail. You'll be a bit baffled. So hopefully these tips will help you out. But basically, you just sort of clone the repository, run some stuff and start it up. But this is the manual install instructions. You've got to install a load of stuff. It uses a database. You've got to sort of create a user, set up Invidious, all this kind of stuff. So what we're going to be doing is using Docker. So what I'm going to do is come across to my notes here. So first of all, you can do this either using Podman or Docker. I'm running Fedora 38, which comes with Podman already installed, and Podman is a sort of alternative to Docker that doesn't run as a daemon as root all the time like Docker does. So what you need for Docker, you need Docker and Docker Compose, and there's instructions on this page somewhere here about what you actually need to have installed. You need to have Docker and Docker Compose installed. But in my case, what I need to install is Podman-Compose, and we're also going to be installing pwgen, which is a command line tool to generate passwords. So the first step is you need to clone the repository. So git clone invidious.git. I've already got it cloned down here. So you clone it and then you change directory into the Invidious instance that you've just downloaded, the repository. So once you've done that, what you'll see here is the content of this directory, and the thing that we're interested in is this docker-compose.yml file, which is a YAML file that's used to configure the Docker instance that we're going to be spinning up. So what you need to do is actually edit the docker-compose.yml file, and if I come across when you actually download the I'll come across here, what you'll notice is when you clone the repository, it's going to look like this. This is the docker-compose.yaml file, and there's some things that you actually need to do to this file to get it working. Otherwise, you're going to be tearing your hair out. So the first really annoying thing about this is when you look at this page here and you look at this edit the Docker YAML file, what you'll notice is under Invidious here, it says image q.io Invidious latest. That's not in the docker-compose YAML file that you download. So what happens is if you just try and run Docker Compose with this file, it's going to fail because it won't find the Invidious image to actually build a Docker container. So the first step is you've actually got to add this bit of code, image q.io Invidious :latest. And the next thing you want to do is actually change the port. So you can see here, this is what it looks like by default. It says port 127.0.0.1 :3000:3000. That's basically set up because you can use Invidious with a reverse proxy in front of it. You know, Nginx, forget how you pronounce it. Nginx reverse proxy. So what you actually want to do is delete the 127.0.0.1 : so that it just looks like this. Ports 3000 : 3000. The next annoying thing that's not mentioned is further down in the page, but it's one of those situations where you're going through and building stuff and setting stuff up. You kind of want those instructions there before you actually build it. So you need to change the hammock key. So what you'll see down here, this section, line 33, hamac key change me. So what you need to do is, if you come down here, I think it was even further down. Yeah, I think it was right down the bottom somewhere. Where was it? Yeah, post install configuration. You must set a random generated value for the parameter hamac key. On Linux, you can generate it using the pwgen21 command. Also says, because of various issues, Invidious must be restarted often, at least once a day, ideally every hour. So that's just another thing to mention. So that's another thing that caught me, because I was building it and didn't see that change me thing, because it's right down at the bottom after the manual installation. So you would think that that would actually be under the Docker section, because you think, okay, that's all I've got to do on Docker. I don't need this manual installation stuff. So you need to change the hamac key. So the way you do that is, after installing pwgen, what you do is you run pwgen21, and it's going to print out a string of characters like that. And then what you need to do is actually set the hamac key to equal that string of characters that you've got in the terminal. And this is why I would also recommend using tmux in the terminal, because it makes it a lot easier to actually enter copy mode and then select the bit of text, rather than faffing about with your mouse trying to select stuff. Yeah. Okay. So now this is what the Docker compose.yaml file should look like. So first of all, there's three things we had to do. We have to add this image section here under Invidious. We have to change the ports to remove the 127.0.0.1 colon, so that it just reads 3000 colon 3000. And we needed to change the hamac key. I should put in the actual key. Let me just get the value here so you can see what it looks like. So this is what it should look like. And you don't put the hamac key in quotes either, just put it like that. Okay, is that the one, or have I just put it in the wrong one? So I had two set up here. Where did I put it? I think I already put it in there somewhere. Yeah, my bad. Actually had okay, so this is what it should oh fuck it. I'll just leave that back there. But that's basically what it looks like. The image, ports, and the hamac key there. So once you've done that, and you're actually in the Invidious directory, so we cloned it, we cloned the repository, we changed into the directory, we've edited the Docker compose.yaml file, we've added the image section with the path to the Invidious instance, we've changed the ports, and we've added the hamac key. So the next thing that you need to do is you run either Docker compose up, or in my case, Podman compose up. And what that will do is that will build everything. That will actually get everything downloaded. It will download all the images, and it will then set everything up, and you can go to the login page. However, there's a thing about the login page, and I'll show you that in here. Invidious. Okay. So it was this one, I think, yeah, 402. So here we go. What I'm just going to do, I'm just going to mute this, because it, I think this is the one. Yeah. Basically, someone's doing a bit of a Baby Woe kind of rip-off. I'm sorry to say, that's the way it kind of comes across. They're using the same voice, and kind of like, animated character introducing stuff, opposed to someone talking. But what I want to do is actually skip. Will it let me skip ahead here? We'll have to do this on YouTube. See, this is another interesting tip to see if it will actually skip ahead. See, I can obviously skip to this section here. Okay, so maybe I've just maybe skipping ahead has kind of messed it up. So what I'll do is actually show you on YouTube. Tempt fate with demos. Okay, this section here. Yeah, I kind of got this. So what this is showing you is, after you've just spun up the container, you can then go to localhost :3000, and you'll be greeted with a page like this. You then go to login, and this is the bit that really had me stumped. So let me just play this. So what you do is you go to login, and you're not. This is where you're actually creating an account. So this is a bit kind of confusing. First of all, so you're actually creating an account here. So make sure you write down the username and password after you've created it. Okay, and then you do that. And then what happens is you're taken to this page. And what I stupidly thought was that you're actually setting the time. So what it looks like here is it's got kind of like time, register, text capture, and this big clock. What I thought you were having to do was kind of like set your system time. So I was like putting in 7 o'clock, 10 minutes. It was going, no, wrong, error. Turns out what this is a capture. And what you actually have to do is put the time in from the clock, okay? So for this, you can see it's 10 minutes past 9 and 25 seconds. What you have to do is put in 09:10:25. Yeah? So that had me completely stumped. And it wasn't until I was watching this section back here, what you see, yeah. So that's what you got to put in. So you didn't need to put the 09 in, you got to put 9:10:25. So that's just something that really had me sort of stumped for a while during the account creation process. Okay, so that's how you log in. How do you restart? How do you actually start Invidious up? So the first time you run Docker Compose up or Podman Compose up, it will actually be running in the terminal. So what you can actually do is just you can close Invidious in the browser and Control-C to kill it. Then once you've actually got the Invidious instance set up, you no longer need the Git repository here, so you can actually delete that. But if I run Podman images, what you'll see here is a list of Podman images that I've got set up. And you can see Invidious here, and you can see the image ID. And what I was basically doing with just Podman start CA is already running here, so I'm not getting the completion. But I was just using the image ID. But I think there's also a way you can actually name an image, so that you could call, rather than having this image ID like that, you would actually call the image Invidious and start it. So basically what I was just doing was Podman start and then the actual container ID. Okay, and the last bit is actually how you update Invidious. and you do it with these 3 commands. And the equivalent for Docker would just be to replace the word Podman with Docker. So you just run Podman -compose pull or Docker -compose pull, and then you run Podman -compose up -d or Docker -compose up -d, and then Podman image prune -f or Docker image prune -f. I think that's sort of like pruning it, sort of getting rid of the craft basically. So that's as far as I've actually got with Invidious. A couple of the gotchas that I came across in the Docker Compose. Again, you have to do the 3 things: the image, the ports, and the Hamak key. Once you've done that, just run Podman compose up, log in, and you're good to go. And you can see this is really nice. Okay, you can see the sort of recommended videos down here actually, whereas before it was giving like a scroll box. So we've got the same kind of deal here. So can I just go to let's just compare the pages. So what we're going to do is just have a look at the same. Bring that up here. So we'll have a look at the layout of YouTube versus the Invidious instance, and see what sort of features we're missing or have gained. So let's have a kind of general look over the page. You've got the player, obviously, with the controls. You know, you've got your standard video controls, play, audio. We've got the autoplay, the subtitles, the settings for the resolution we want. We're going to have these different sort of modes, you know, mini player, cinema mode, full screen. We've got the pop out. We've got the subscriptions. We've got the, upvotes, downvotes. You know, you don't see downvotes anymore. We've got the share options. We've got clip to create a sort of like mini clip from it. Save to save it to a playlist. We've got the description down here and then the comments. So let's have a look at the equivalent on Invidious. First thing you notice is the video takes center stage. We don't have all this stuff over on the right hand side. We've got a nice big video here, and then everything is actually under the fold, as it were, below the fold, which is sort of like a term from newspapers. You know how you get a newspaper folded, everything below the fold, as it were. So we got all these links here. We got watch on YouTube. We got embed. So this actually obviously looks like it. Okay, so that takes us to the actually a URL with sort of embed, as opposed to I thought it was going to throw up the embed. You know how you get the share thing here. So embed. So usually you get like an embed with the iframe and all the options here. That's what I thought that was going to do. You can switch the Invidious instance. So this was how you can redirect stuff. I'll switch back to the installation thing. I think there's some notes there about particular browser extensions you can use that will basically, when you go to play a video here, rather than it actually being pulled from YouTube, it's pulled from your Invidious instance. So that's pretty cool as well. Show annotations. We've got this section here as well. Okay, we've got the likes. So we've got the same number of likes there. You can see 101, 101. We've got the genres and everything here. We have the description, the subscription button there. We've got play next, and we've got the comment. So we've got, we got all the same stuff. This is the Invidious player So these are the controls here. So let's see if let's change. I thought I had that changed to Invidious a second ago. So save preferences. Okay, so that's with it coming up there. But what you'll notice is how quick these things play. Let's just come back. So let's pick another thing. What can we have a look at? Let's have a look at Big Buck Bunny. That's a good test. Big Buck Bunny. You can see how quick this actually is. So let's come back here and just do a sort of kind of a speed test. Big. See, we don't get the auto completion. Buck Bunny. Come through, but that just seems a bit snappier. So let's just go back and try that again. Yeah, that is snappy. So this is the original version of Big Buck Bunny from 15 years ago. This is like a 4K version. I'm going to go with the original and just see how quickly this sort of loads up. So you can see it's pulled in the thumbnail. So there is a slight delay pulling in the thumbnail sometimes. And again, this is the Invidious player, so we get the pop-up here, which I guess in a way I kind of like, because you're not obscuring the actual video. Suppose this button was actually in the middle, you would see it be right bang in the middle of his face. So that's nice, and you don't actually have to click up here. You can see as I'm mousing over, I can just click here, and you can see how quickly that is loading. So let's have a look at the settings here. We were at 720 here, which I know is the maximum resolution for this video. It's always been 720. But what about the jumping ahead? Okay, it's jumping ahead fine now. You can see it's now buffering ahead there. And that may be because I've got the settings to use dash adaptive streaming. Okay. The jumping ahead, jumping back. So that's pretty impressive. And again, no JavaScript. So I could probably set new block origin to block everything, and this would still work. And again, we've got some nice additional sort of features here that we don't get on YouTube. So let's have a look. So you can subscribe. Here's Blender, so we can actually go. So that's the other interesting thing that you'll see. Let's see if I copy the wonder. Okay. So this is what I was kind of trying to get, is you can see the channel here. We've got the Blender channel. You can see the URL is 127.0.0.1 3000 channel ID. That's equivalent to this on YouTube. Yeah. So the difference is on YouTube you get the little play video that you always got to stop because it's really annoying, and you're doing something and suddenly a video starts playing in some tab, you got to click to close it. So this is the channel main page whenever you visit something in YouTube, and this is the equivalent in Invidious. And again, you can see up here we got this channel. We got the subscribe button, we got the RSS feeds, and again, this subscribe button is independent from YouTube. We're not logged in to Google or anything, and the subscription is entirely local, which is really nice. And again, we've got the channel, and it's actually showing us the ID. And this is also useful because this will actually show the ID of the channel, which you sometimes don't get, and can be used with other applications like RSS readers like Newsboat or EL Feed to actually pull in RSS from that channel. So again, the interesting thing is going to be here. We got this RSS feed link here. If we can actually get that to work with our RSS reader, so that's another thing we'll go through and try, is actually see if these RSS links will work with our feed reader and pull in stuff from Invidious rather than directly from YouTube. So again, you've got all the stuff here. We've got let's see, we've got view channel, live streams, podcast, playlist, community channels. Okay. Videos, live, podcast, playlist, community channels, about. Okay, so what we want is, say we want the playlists. So here's the playlists. Let's have a look at the corresponding thing here. Blender Live, Blender Playheads. It may be, as you can see here, it's listed in a slightly different order. You can see we've got a sort by date added newest, where there seems to be, yeah, if we do newest here, will that, yeah, okay. So now it's matching the exact same thing here. So by default on YouTube, it's set to newest, and it wasn't by default on Invidious. But once we've set that to the newest, you can see we have exactly the same sort of layout. I think it may be slightly different because there are more rows here, you know. So it's spread over more rows. So you can see that's that one there, and the next one pulling in from there. Okay, so that's all right. So you can see we've got all the playlists here. We've got made with Blender, so let's have a look at that. Let's have a look for Elephant's Dream. Elephant's Dream. Okay, so this is another Blender video, really good. Okay, so you can see it's just pulling stuff in there. And it's actually whirring away a bit before, as you can see. I don't know if I click play, the controls will come up. Usually what happens is it will load up, and you'll get the controls. So okay, as soon as I clicked, so you can see I was getting the spinning little beach ball kind of thing, round doodad. That wasn't an issue. You don't have to wait for that. Just click on the image, and then it will load up the video and actually load up the player here. As you can see here, we've got all the options in the player here.
Emo. Watch out!
Mad video. And again, the pop-up works here. And also importantly, I'm going to copy that. MPV. I'm just going to set that back to the main page so there's nothing actually loading. So what I want to do here is actually just test how quickly it's going to play that video. Pretty quick, huh? So that's really nice. So let's have a look at some of the stuff on Invidious. Okay, so here's the screenshots, the player. You got the subscriptions here. So just have a look at that image. Okay, so you can actually see all your subscriptions. You can import and export everything. You can unsubscribe. This is a list of the video page, the in the preferences, the settings. Again, lightweight, no ads. So typically, you're most likely using uBlock Origin on YouTube to get around ads. And obviously that requires a bit of CPU to block everything. So you're getting no ads, no tracking, no JavaScript. You can customize the homepage, subscriptions independent from Google. You can get notifications. So it'd be interesting to see if the sort of desktop notifications work as well. Because usually what happens is, say I'm subscribed to this one here. I'm subscribed to Newcastle. Subscribe. I'm just wondering if there was any alert button. So let's just click this. That information. Okay. Usually what happens is you'll get a pop-up in the browser that says something like, desktop notifications, that sort of thing. So I was just wondering if there was any notification button or anything for any of this stuff. Let me just come across to one of these ones. What's that? Listen, audio mode. Oh yeah, that's another thing. You can actually use this just to listen to the audio. Pretty cool. Play next by default. I don't see any options to actually have desktop notifications. Maybe that's it. Subscriptions. Okay, no. Clicking that takes you to your subscriptions page. I thought that was like the notifications bell. But this is where you can manage your subscription. So what I'll do is actually have a look through this section, because I thought there was somewhere where you could actually redirect YouTube videos either on YouTube or actually embedded anywhere else on the internet to use your Invidious instance instead of pulling them from YouTube. Okay, and the important thing here is that this doesn't use the official YouTube APIs. So they got sent a sort of like takedown notice or something saying, if you use the APIs, you've got to agree to these terms and services, and you have to do this, that, and the other. And they're basically saying we don't use the API, so that doesn't apply to us. So here's using Invidious. So these are public instances. So this is actually a list of public instances that you can actually try in different countries. But the latency is going to be much better if you're actually self-hosting this. And you can see that was the instructions we followed. There's a full documentation here. Okay, extensions. We highly recommend the use of Privacy Redirect browser extension that automatically redirects YouTube URLs to any Invidious instance and replaces embedded YouTube videos on other sites with Invidious. Okay, this documentation contains a list of browser extensions that we recommend to use along with Invidious. So let's have a look at that. A privacy redirect, sponsor block, Invidious copy URL, view Invidious. We've also got user scripts here. So these are like Grease Monkey or Violent Monkey scripts, basically. And there's some other stuff down here. Okay, Kodi add-on, watch YouTube videos in Kodi Media Center using an Invidious API. That might be interesting, because normally if I use Kodi, what I do is I set Kodi to use an external player for videos that are on the internet. So whenever you click a link, it actually opens the video in MPV, because the Kodi YouTube add-on, you've got to add a API key. You've got to generate an API key from your account. So it looks like there's some extensions here. So this is Privacy Redirect, a web extension that redirects Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Google Maps, Reddit, into privacy-friendly alternative front ends for those like Nitter, Invidious, FreeTube, OpenStreetMap, etc. So basically, there's a way to install a browser extension that will automatically sort of redirect YouTube and YouTube videos either on YouTube or embedded on our sites to work with Invidious instead. So that's most of the stuff I kind of wanted to cover, but the other thing that I thought would be interesting to look at is if we could actually use these RSS feeds. So what I'll do is I'll try using both EL feed in Emacs and Newsboat to see if these feeds work. Okay, so let's take Adam Pearson's channel here. So we've got the RSS feed here. So let me come across config Newsboat. Okay. Got Adam P down there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just comment that one out. Put this in. And I'll just rename this Invidious Videos. Okay, that should all be good. And then run Newsboat. Okay, you can see it's coming up NMP Invidious here. And it's coming up with all the stuff, coming up with all these links. So let's try one of these links. Video.
Hey guys.
Oh yeah, neat, huh? So it works. So what we've just done there is I have a script that I run from Newsboat that will take the URL and play it with MPV. Okay, so you can see this is pulling in this Adam Pearson Invidious, which corresponds to this line down here, which is running off HTTP 127.3000 feed channel. And you can see the link is sort of quite similar to the YouTube link here. So it's pulling in all those videos. You can see here, those all correspond here. Insane meet and greet. Fans not happy. Okay, so if I just come in here, video, what I just want to judge is how quickly after I've done this does it actually launch the video. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hey guys.
So I know 4 or 5 seconds. That's pretty decent. So you can confirm that the actual channel RSS feed is actually working with Newsboat. So let's have a look at my feeds. So this is EL feed, and what you can do with EL feed with Emacs is use an org file to actually keep a list of your feeds. So if I just do this, so what I'll do is I'll duplicate this line, or no, I'll put in the new thingy. So where was that thing I just did? URLs. So I want to put this URL in here. I might have to do something like reload feed or something. Okay. So am I going to do this? Don't know if it's going to pull in new stuff. Okay, see, yeah, see, it's pulling in some sort of duplicates because I had stuff here. So let's see. Um, okay, here. So you can see the link here. So you can see EL feed is pulling in the RSS from the Invidious Docker container. You can see that by the actual link here. So what I'm going to do is actually launch this, but it will launch on my second display, which I'm not recording. So it's going to work. No, interesting. Let me just, I think that's the keyboard shortcut. Let me just check. This should be working in this one. Okay. So this is what it normally looks like, and maybe it's just an EL feed issue. Okay, so that's coming in. It's not pulling in. It's not pulling in the description that it normally does, and when I press the keyboard shortcut, it's not running. So there's obviously an issue with EL feed. So I'll just put that back to normal. I just wanted to test it out and see if that would actually work. But working in Newsboat, there's obviously some extra thing you've got to do with EL feed to actually get it working. But basically, the RSS feeds look like they will work with other applications, so they're in the correct format. And I think what happens is when you click RSS, it's actually downloaded a Atom file. So you can see here, I've downloaded 2 Atom files by clicking on the RSS link for different channels. So if I open one of these here, you'll actually see the information here. So you can see this is the Adam Pearson one, and so this is basically the Atom feed, and the other one was Newcastle United. Okay, so the Atom feeds work. That's the format that they're in. Just some interesting things about this is so the way this works. You kind of go back up here to the Invidious thing here. I guess this is popular. So you got kind of like feed popular, pending, and you got your subscriptions here. So this is basically going to show you all your latest videos coming up. Then you got playlists here. So what you can also do is add playlists from YouTube to Invidious quite easily. So let's find a playlist that we want. Well, let's just take this. We take anything here made with Blender. Actually, sort of, I'll do one of my own playlists. Never autocomplete. There we go. And we come across the playlists. Okay. Let's go with something. Yeah, let's go with this one. View playlist. What I'm just going to do is actually copy this part of the playlist. So playlist, you see here, playlist question mark list equals. We're just going to copy the text after equals, and I'm pretty sure that this should work. So if I put that in, it should actually come up with my stuff. So you can see that's coming up. So what I don't see from here is how you so subscribe. Okay, subscribe playlist. Okay, so that doesn't subscribe to the channel. I think this just subscribes to the playlist. So subscribe. Come back here. Should now have that playlist. Okay, and it's not come up with an image for some reason. Maybe it takes a while, or it just hasn't got one. Okay, so that's how you can subscribe to a playlist. So if I wanted to subscribe to my channel, do the same thing. So I could just search for @Napoleon Wilson. Go. And I can just subscribe to that. You can see the channel and the subscriptions. And obviously, because there's more recent stuff than this, you can see there's one of my videos. So this is another nice thing, is that you don't have to have all your subscriptions tied to your Google. Again, even though this is wearing away, just click plus and it will just click, and you can see it's kicking in straight away. Another reason why you might want to set this up, apart from having no ads, no JavaScript, it's very quick. It's very snappy to actually kick in, and you can come across to the settings and change your default quality settings. But that's probably one of the reasons why you might want to use the subtitles. You can see it's pulling in all the comments, which is nice. I don't have to see. I guess it's synced up so that I'll unsubscribe because it's a bit. I don't want to see my own stuff. I presume it's kind of synced up, so as more people add comments, it comes through. But I don't know. I guess it's not a two-way thing, that you can't comment and have it show up on YouTube. I wouldn't have thought. So that's how you can actually search for stuff. And we just close that. And so if I just copy something in here and just move that, will it come up with the, yeah, so you can see it's actually coming up by just copying that part of the URL. And then it's kind of showing related stuff as well here. You've got some icons down here like watch on YouTube. You've got audio mode, and what's this one? Switch Invidious instance. I haven't tried that. You also have filters, exactly same filters that you would have up here. Where's the filters? And come across to this, pause it, so we not get which page is the one where you have the filters. I think it's the search. But anyway, you've got the search here so that you can search for, duration, channel videos, playlists, movies, all that kind of stuff. So I select the filters. Next page. So you can see how quick actually switching pages is. On YouTube you have the everlasting scroll. And the issue with that is that you can't go back a page. So maybe kind of scrolling through and think, oh yeah, that's on the the first page, the second page. You haven't got the way of going back. With this, you can actually just go through. So actually searching for stuff's really nice. The only downside is you don't have the auto completion because there's no JavaScript or anything, so you don't get that. But Um, you can see how quick it is to actually sort of load stuff up here. We've got Madman. And you don't actually have the option to subscribe directly on this page. Kind of got to go into the video here. Again, it can take a few seconds for it to pull down the image. And again, you can just click that and it's going to start playing. And again, everything works here. The pop out MPV works. You can select the resolution there. So let's change that to 240. It's going to reload. Maybe the 240 version doesn't work. The 360, go back to 360. Okay. Mute that. And again, on some pages you seem to have the recommended videos in one long sort of list. On this one you seem to have a small scroll box. So that's just some of the sort of difference between the interfaces. And again, let's have a look at the settings. Always loop. Again, the only thing I changed was the preferred video quality from 720 to dash, adaptive quality 1080. Default comments YouTube, you can set that to Reddit or YouTube, but I don't know how it pulls in stuff from Reddit. Default captions, the visual, you got the language, the content, the player style, the theme that's you know, dark or light, homepage. So this is what, you know, default homepage is when you click the little Invidious thing. That's the redirect. So that I think I'm not sure if that's needed for the browser extensions or not. You've got enable watch history, number of videos shown in the feed. And then you've got all your other stuff down here, import and export. So you can easily import stuff from YouTube, all your subscriptions into Invidious. And then it's really nice because it's so much quicker. And, you know, unless you're going to sort of like popular, I say, unless you go to sort of trending, which doesn't seem to actually change that much since I started the video. You're not getting all that crap that normally gets shoved down your throat with YouTube. So you know how it was the algorithm will start recommending you stuff, and quite often you get loads of stuff, loads of nonsense like Nigel Farage or GB News or what have you. Another interesting thing, let me just see if I can come across to my history. Clear the history type. What I'll do is I'll just clear the history type. Because one thing I did notice was even if you mouse over something, it can register in your history as being watched. So see if it'll work with this. Or if I was just going completely mad. But what I found was even if you accidentally mouse over one of these, when it starts playing, it can show up in your history, will it? Yeah, see there, that's what I'm talking about. You haven't played the video, I've just moused over it. So let me show you again so that you don't think I'm going completely bonkers. So what typically happens is, you know, you're scrolling down the page, for instance. Okay, you're scrolling down the page and, you know, you might, you know, your mouse rests on something like that. I don't know how long it has to be. And if I come up, no, it hasn't come up yet. So there's obviously a set amount of time, and then it will kick in and it will register as a watched video. See if that will do it. Okay, you can see now that's kicked in. So what then happens is that will be used by the algorithm to determine what videos you actually want to watch. So just by you accidentally mousing over a video, we'll register it as a watched video and we'll count to what videos you get recommended. So you suddenly mouse over Nigel Farage, you're going to get inundated with a load of recommended channels by Hitler and Andrew Tate or whatnot. So that's another thing why YouTube is really annoying, in that it will just, recommend all these things, and you can actually mouse over one of them and it will then lead you down a rabbit hole and start recommending other stuff. So that's just another thing I've noticed with YouTube. There should be I thought there was a section here where it actually shows you if desktop notifications are enabled, but it doesn't seem to. So that's Invidious. Those are the reasons you kind of want to use it. It's an open source alternative front end to YouTube. Doesn't use the YouTube API. Those are the screenshots. Those are the features, as I sort of mentioned. Easy to import and export stuff from YouTube, NewPipe, FreeTube. You can import your watch history. Again, there are public instances, but you might as well just host your own. It's not that difficult. You just need to actually go through a couple of steps. So I'll do a quick recap of some of the steps that we actually needed to go through. So first of all, the required packages again. I'm on Fedora, so I've already got Podman installed. So I would recommend using Podman over Docker. So on your distribution, install Podman, Podman Compose, and pwgen. The next thing we did was we cloned the Git repository by running git clone and the path of the Invidious Git repository. And then we changed into that directory. Then what you need to do was edit the docker compose.yaml file. There were three things we needed to do. You need to add the Invidious image like this, image :q.io, and q.io is a sort of open source alternative to Docker Hub, I believe. We needed to change the ports to say just port 3000:3000. And we need to change the HIMAC key or HMAC key, where it says change me. And you do that by running pwgen 21. It's going to output something like that. And that's how you change the HIMAC key. Don't put it in quotes or anything. And it's basically, the whole thing is going to basically look like this: Invidious, the image, the port, and the HIMAC key down the bottom. And again, one thing that it does mention is because of various issues, Invidious must be restarted often, at least once a day, ideally every hour. So just keep that in mind. So the next step is, once we've got those settings put into place, we just ran podman-compose up while we're actually in the Invidious directory. So you run podman compose up when you're in the Git repository for Invidious that you've downloaded with the docker compose.yaml file. Okay, and then login. Remember the login thing. So that's really had me baffled. So when you first fire it up, you go to localhost :3000 and you select the little login button, and that's where you create your user and add your user and password, and it takes you to that screen with the clock. And you're not setting the time with the clock; it's a captcha that you've got to enter the time that's actually in the image. Okay, so that had me baffled for a while. Okay, so once you've done that and you've started it up and got it running, once you kill it, to restart it, you can just run Podman start and then the container ID, and there were the update commands. So I'll put links to all the relevant bits under the video, but I'm feeling this. I think this is definitely one to be used. Let's have a look at the top. That's just OBS kicking in. So I was just looking to see if there was, if Invidious was. So it's only using 1%. You could see, where was it? It's somewhere down here. It came up a while ago and just said 1%. You can pause the video and go back. But yeah, this is really nice because it's not showing you a load of rubbish automatically generated that you having to go, no, don't recommend this channel. It's just showing you what you want. So if I want to search for like Emacs, okay, see that pulled in pretty. There was a little delay there, but it pulled in stuff pretty quick. There's Emacs from scratch. So let's have a look at Emacs from scratch. You can see how nice and quick this is, actually just bringing up all the videos. And again, you can then just subscribe. So as you can see, this is a playlist, so I could just subscribe to this playlist. Okay, I get the RSS feed, which I could use with the RSS reader. I can then just come up here, go playlists, and annoyingly, sometimes you get that when it's not pulling an image. So there's obviously some issue where it's not pulling in the image for the playlist, which is a bit irritating. But there you go, you've got the playlist. Give it a second to pull in the image there. Bang. See how quick that is. So you've got everything you would on YouTube, just without all the ads. And you can see here, these are sort of my watched videos. So you can see it's sort of remembering the playback position as well. And again, jumping forward seems fine. See how quickly it's jumping forward and backwards. Yeah, that's really nice. And I think that's probably because I changed the settings to use dash adaptive quality. So that's dash streams, which they're not a single video. They are a video that has been segmented into sort of 10-second chunks, so that it actually makes it quicker to seek into a video just by seeking to that particular chunk rather than trying to seek through an entire video. So everything works perfectly. You can see I'll just and the noise there. I don't think I've got the captions set up, so let's see if the captions work. Ah, yeah. So that's pretty darn cool, isn't it? You may want to, watch something without the audio, or actually have the captions for another language, which you can change in the settings. So the overall view of this is pretty amazing. Easy to migrate your stuff. One downside again is, it says you've got to restart this at least once a day, maybe as much as once an hour. So I'll leave this and see how if that causes any problems. But typically, I don't actually play the videos using the built-in player anyway. I'll use MPV to play them. So rather than actually playing them like that, I'll just come across MPV, and we can just see how quick this loads. So that's pretty snappy, isn't it? And again, it's nice. You've got your privacy back. You can subscribe to loads of different stuff without Google knowing about it. So, you don't have to have all your, what's nice is you don't feel like you're giving all your stuff to someone, all your watch history and all that kind of stuff. And as I said, as I was pointing out, even just even just mousing over stuff, accidentally leaving your mouse on something will count as your watch history. So I don't know how many seconds it is, maybe 10 seconds, but I'm guessing that'll be long enough for that to register. No, obviously need to leave it a bit longer. Let's see how many seconds it needs to be moused over. So will 10 seconds count? Yeah. Where's the history? Yeah. So 10 seconds mousing over a video will actually count as part of your watch history. So this is nice and clean. As I said, we also used uBlock Origin just to remove the information down the bottom. What you could also do is with Firefox, you can actually use built-in CSS. You can actually set Firefox to use particular CSS styles for a particular site. So you can actually completely style this page with Firefox user CSS. You probably there's probably a way to actually edit the theme, but it's in a Docker container, and it may be more difficult. So you could just do it with Firefox. But yeah, this is great. You got all your subscriptions there. You can see how nice and quick this comes up. Doesn't take that long to actually load the image. Bang, click.
Yes, guys. How's
Yeah, how quick that is. It's just ridiculous. There's no, stuttering or anything like that when you actually go through and switch between different views. So let's have a look for something else. Let's just search for like FFmpeg, Linux. That's pretty quick. Next page. Next page. You can see here we've got like search ? Linux and page 3. That's just really nice because you can easily go back pages. You've got the filters up here. So let's say just want this week, so you can sort of filter it all down. And again, you just come up here and you got your popular. I think that just defaults to this. You got trending, which again doesn't seem to have changed. Okay, so that's default music, movies, which I guess sort of corresponds to sort of this kind of stuff in the sidebar. So some of the sort of layout is sort of a bit different. Yeah, it's still not pulled in the videos there, but you can see there's all my sort of videos. But it's also actually quite handy because if I just wanted, if I wanted to subscribe to my own thing, it actually makes it easier. Sometimes when people are asking me a question or something, I can go, oh yeah, it's that video or what have you. So I can come up to subscriptions. I think there's your watch history. There's managed subscriptions. So I come back here. You've got that's like a feed for all your subscriptions. You've got your watch history, then you've got managed subscriptions. So when you go to the subscriptions thing here, it doesn't give you a list of the things you're subscribed to. It gives you like an amalgamation of all the videos from those channels, and I think there's a thing where you can change this view so it only shows you the most recent. By default, I think it shows you like last 40 or something. So this isn't really a view where you can actually and go, okay, I want to go into that channel or that channel. It's gives you a list of all the recent content. But if you go to manage subscriptions here, you can see you've actually got a list of the channels here. So I can come to Adam Pearson, and that takes me to his channel here. So there is a way to actually view all the channels, all the subscriptions individually, and then you've kind of got the a nice overview here. Of course, you can bookmark all these. So this is really nice because you can actually view their whole channel. Next page. So you can see how quick that is. So to do that, what you do is subscriptions, manage subscriptions, and that gives you this list. So you can just see stuff from that particular channel. So yeah, it's pretty quick. Look how quick that kicks in. That's ridiculous. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover. There were just a few gotchas I came across actually getting it installed that didn't seem to be documented, or were documented later on in the install thing, right at the bottom of the page. But I'll see how I get on with this. But one thing I'll definitely be having a look at is taking all my subscriptions from YouTube with my RSS reader and using them directly from Invidious instead. But obviously the container's got to be running. So if I run Podman images, I think it is, you can see we've got the Invidious here. So when you install Invidious, it's also going to install this one here, Postgres, as well, because it uses a database basically. So the things that you can see I've got installed here, I've got Invidious, I've got Postgres, which is installed with that. I've got Arch Linux, and that's installed with DistroBox, which I covered in a previous video. I've got Video 2x, and I've got FFmpeg TensorFlow, which is upscaling videos using sort of machine learning with FFmpeg. So those are the Podman images. So it's easy to sort of spin this up. You've got it all running in a container. So yeah, I'll have to see what the RAM usage is like and that kind of thing. But if I just run top, you can see there's not running away. That's just OBS kicking in there. See if we can even see Invidious. Not even coming up in the top, you can see that. So yeah, it's not hammering the system or anything. So there's no issues with that. So really, would you transition from using YouTube like this with, all this kind of, I really don't want that kind of stuff, It's just, it's Vim anyway, but what a stupid thumbnail. So yeah, you just get like a load of stuff and you just scroll endlessly, and you just got kind of a different sort of vibe here because you're actually just searching for the stuff you want and it's not showing you anything else. So search for like 1950. Let's search for 1950s sci-fi movies. See how quickly it comes up. Let's copy the same thing across and just compare the results. You can see here, same stuff. Some of it may be in a different order. Any date. What's the thing here? So that's sorted by relevance. There may be some difference, but you can see we've got that. Create a mass experiment. Where's that? Data Triffids. Yeah, so you haven't got the everlasting scrolling page, because it's no JavaScript. You just go next page, and which again is nice because again What a nice clean URL that is. Search question mark, 1950s sci-fi movies and page 2. That's really nice. Whereas you kind of scroll and then you kind of forget where, you think, oh, I saw something up there, and you got to kind of scroll around. Whereas, you just go previous page. As that's really nice and quick. So I don't think there's anything else I can sort of cover with this, apart from the setup. Some of the features on the actual pages. Again, some of these nice little features down here. You got all the comments. You can play next. So with the settings, if I come into the settings, probably autoplay, play next by default, and proxy video. I can't remember what that is. I think that may be something to do with the redirection as well. And then you've got listen by default. So what you can actually do is also set this to just play the audio by default. There's a little option under the videos, next to the videos, just play the audio. So if you like listening to music using YouTube, you can just set this to just play the audio. So that's another nice feature. But the one thing you want to probably change is the video quality from 720 to dash adaptive quality and 1080 or something like that. And have a look through the other settings down here, watch history, all that kind of stuff. Play around with it. I'm not sure if there's any way to sort of like change the name up here or anything like that. Theme, don't know what thin mode is. Yeah, and again, there's not many options up here. Just log out. That doesn't do anything. That takes you to your subscriptions. That's changing the. Okay, there we go. Change it to light. No. Okay, yeah, back to normal. So that's just toggling the theme. That's your subscriptions. That's not a notification bell. And then you just got your settings, and playlists don't seem to come up with the images. So create playlists, title, public, create. So you could obviously create a playlist as well from stuff. So I guess you can sort of select things. And again, these subscriptions shows you an overview. Again, you get RSS for that as well. Watch history, many subscriptions to get the lists down there as well. So I think that's pretty much everything. And I'll wrap that up for now and stick links to all this under the video.